Hey, good morning, my friends. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. I know we got a lot of news across Michigan, but we've got a lot of weather to get to. Also, record warmth. I had to find another nice summery shirt. Record warmth on the way for today, even tomorrow. And then a storm system to watch that will have mostly rain in the southeast third of the state, let's say, from Flint to Kalamazoo southward, and then a zone of mixture, and then a zone of some heavy snow. So let's get to all of that. And if you want to hang with me later on toward the end, I'm going to get out into the extended, which looks very interesting because cold air tries to come at us toward the beginning of March, and a ridge blows up and says, not going to happen. And it makes me wonder if that's when we stick the fork in winter and call it done. So where we're going to start off first off is the advisories and the watches and the warnings across the country. Two things to note: southern half of lower Michigan under a wind advisory, winds gusting over 40 miles an hour, maybe to 50 miles an hour or so. But notice the winter storm watches. That's the blue in northern Kansas and then southwest Iowa, aimed toward Michigan. I would anticipate that we probably will have a winter storm watch in the northwest half, say, some part of the northwest half of lower Michigan by this afternoon. And that would be in effect for Thursday into Thursday night. Let me say hi to some folks first real quickly here. Lisa Kurtz, good morning from Holyoke, Massachusetts. Mark Hargerink, hopefully I have that right. Lansing, good morning. And good morning, Burton and Gregory Boggs. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. All right, so we're starting with some sunshine. Beautiful day. Clouds will increase and we will get some rain on the first part of the storm system. So what we're going to do here is most everything is very consistent except for maybe some 10-mile fine tunings here and there. So we look at the European, we look at the US model called the GFS, both very consistent. The GFS, one county colder. That's its typical shortcoming, and it's about 6 hours faster. That's one of its shortcomings too. European really at this point doesn't have a shortcoming when something's a couple of days away. So we're going to start with the European model, okay, and show you when the activity begins. So we're dry today, and we've got a record warmth day today. Most places will make it into the 50s, if not well into the 50s. Now this is tonight. Because we're so warm today, tonight's precipitation, all rain everywhere across Michigan, everywhere, including the UP. This piece of the system drives through across Lake Superior tomorrow and then turns our winds to the northwest, and that's what starts to leak some cooler air into the area. Now, I will be honest that, something inside of me says, man, we got to get quite a bit of cool air in here to get snow. It's aloft, and that certainly can happen. And at this point in time, you cannot argue with computer models out that far, just this close in the future, because they're pretty well know what's going on. So here's Thursday morning, 7 a.m., and you're still fine to travel and you're still dry. And then let's go to noon. Okay, maybe some snow starting up around the Traverse City area. And then we go to, let's go to 6 p.m. and the precipitation starting. And you can see where the snow to mixture line is. Snow to mixture line, Bay City to north side of Grand Rapids. North of that, mostly all snow. Then a little zone of what could be freezing rain or sleet, about one county wide, if you will. And then south of that, rain. Now this is 7 p.m. Thursday. So orange, by the way, is sleet on this model. So again, rain or snow to sleet line, Bay City to Grand Rapids, starting to inch southward quickly after sunset, and then shifting into the southeast part of the state. Flint, maybe you're in the freezing rain in Oakland County, maybe in a quick 1 hour or 2 hour shot of freezing rain. And then as the storm pulls off, turns colder, snow showers. And this is a move in, move out. This is already 7 o'clock Friday morning, and it's pretty well done and off to the east. So, give you a good perspective. Snow, and where you see the dark blues, that's where the heavier snow is. So you're looking at Big Rapids, Clare, what else is in there? Maybe Mount Pleasant or northwest of Mount Pleasant. Hey, Sharon Brown, good morning. Tyler Andrzejewski, Sanford, all snow or in the mix? Sanford is just northwest of Midland, and you probably will have a couple of hours of mix, but mostly snow. That moves on to the east. All right, now let's take a look at the U.S. model. And remember, I told you, U.S. model is typically a little colder, a little faster. So this is 1 p.m. on Thursday, and it's got the precipitation already going. And then this is 7 p.m. Thursday, and it has that rain snow line down to northern Genesee County and down to almost Kalamazoo. So it's one county colder, so to speak. And then by Friday morning, it's off to the east as well. Okay, let's take it out through the weekend just to give you a feel. It looks dry through the weekend. It looks dry through early next week. We're into Wednesday, Thursday. There's our next system, and this one is advertising snow, but we'll have to look at that. But we don't have to worry about anything until late next week. All right, so now we're going to look at the European total snowfall forecast. I think it's probably pretty good. Let's call this a 4 to 8 inch snowstorm. Okay, a lot of 5s, maybe some 6s, maybe a rare 7 to 8 in a small area. But this is where we're going with this. So this is the European's total snowfall forecast, European model, and eventually we'll get a better model in about a day. Let's see. David Feinblum. Do I see some icing or just a mix? Any Detroit Metro Airport impacts? Metro will change over to snow showers. It looks like probably Thursday night, and I would say maybe an inch or two Thursday night, Friday morning. So I don't know if there will be any impact at all. So here's 1 p.m. Thursday, here's 4 p.m., here's 7 p.m. Now we take it out to end of the snow Friday morning, and there you see it. 4 to 8 inches, Big Rapids to Traverse City to Rogers City to Standish, right in there. If there's a 6-inch, Clare, maybe Big Rapids, maybe Tawas, Gladwin, somewhere in there. And then, Grand Rapids to Saginaw, a couple of inches. And then Flint, Kalamazoo, southward, I would call it less than an inch. Now, here we can look at the freezing rain, and it won't be a big ice up. Less than 1/10 of an inch, I would say, in most places, and probably most places just 500ths, enough to fill in the little crevices in the pavement and make it slick. So this is the 6-hour freezing rain accumulation. and that would be between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Thursday. There you can see maybe Grand Rapids to the Flint area, to the Thumb. And then by the time we get to between 7 p.m. Friday and 7 p.m. Thursday and 1 a.m. Friday, it's cold enough that it changed to all snow, and maybe part of Oakland County has just a little bit of a brief thing. So there now you know what you got. Late Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, biggest travel problems. And then, it doesn't disappear instantly Friday morning. It takes a little while for road crews and things to improve. Today's highs, 56 in Grand Rapids, 54-ish in Ann Arbor and Saginaw, 47 Traverse City. Tomorrow, highs near 60 in the southeast part of the state. Ann Arbor, hey, get the clubs out. Start swinging them so you can get ahead of the game by a month or so. Now, Thursday, showing the big temperature gradient. And then Friday, behind the storm, it will, guess what? Be a winter-like day with highs in the upper 20s to low 30s. Imagine that. We'll probably be freezing. And Saturday, we're right back to the low 40s, southern half of the state. And Sunday, we're right back to the 40s all the way to Mackinac City. And southern lower is in the mid to upper 40s, so the snow is melting of what fell. Monday and early next week looks like we're going to try to be a little bit cooler, but still above normal, upper 30s, and Tuesday maybe low to mid 30s, and Wednesday maybe easing back to a winter-like day, high of 30. And some things try to advertise some colder temperatures later on in the week. All right, so I want to just recap for you what we have there. We have a snow system from basically north side of Grand Rapids to Standish northward. We'll call it a 4 to 8 inch snow in and out Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, done by Friday morning. A little strip of a mixture in there, so a nasty travels perhaps Saginaw area, Northern Thumb, through the rest of the Grand Rapids area. South of that, minimal impact. Now, let's look at the extended. Okay, this is interesting to me. And remember, this is one of my jobs, is to keep you ahead, way out there. Things that the TV stations can't do. They've long run out of time, right, on their weathercast for this. We're going to look into the extended. What we're going to look at is we are going to look at the surface temperature anomaly forecast out 16 days. Colder air is pooling to the north. It's trying to come in. We thought that it would leak in late February, early March, but watch as we get toward the end of it, and all models show this. As the cold air tries to leak in, it moves back to the west. Yes, sometimes larger pockets of weather move from east to west. It moves back to the west, and a ridge of warmth blows up over us. If we go into a building ridge in the first 2 weeks of March, winter is done. Stick a fork in it. And then we got some problems. Then we got some real problems on the fruit trees in that case. So here it is. So what you're looking at is the surface temperature anomaly. Okay, off of the European. This is right now, obviously, we're way, way, way above normal. This is tonight when we're looking at temperatures 30 degrees warmer than normal. The storm passes by. We get colder for Friday, and then we're right back to the warmth Saturday into Sunday. Now notice the cold air building to the north. This is next Tuesday. Notice the cold air trying to ooze southward. This is into next week, where northern Michigan could feel like winter. Far southern Michigan, still flirting with a kind of a spring feel. Now watch as the cold air moves back to the west. It's still trying by next weekend, February 25th, to come in. But the cold air then moves back to the west, and a ridge starts to build as we get to the last days of February, February 27th, February 28th. And look at that. The warmth builds back in. Again, 16 days out, but something that is showing up a lot. So, a lot of weather in there. Early March is going to be very interesting. You may want an early spring. All of the check marks are coming toward early spring for you, the human being. Bad part, fruit trees. The fruit trees mostly are the most vulnerable. Some of our landscape plantings are vulnerable too. This is going to bring some buds out. And we know that we have to at least have a freeze sometime in March and or April. So the farther along the trees get, the tougher it's going to be. You know, I'm going to look into, can you do something? If you have one or two apple trees, dwarf apple trees in your yard, can you do something to slow down the bud development? Can you do something to cover these over? But this is one thing we're going to have to start to deal with, as it's a big deal in Michigan, obviously, with our large fruit crops. There's your update. I'll be updating you more on this storm, some fine tunings, how much snow, where, how much freezing rain, where, how much rain, where, all that stuff. But you should know by now. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. You got a lot of weather. Probably went through a whole cup of coffee here. Take care. Bye.